I think that by reducing clutter, we gain more clarity and peace of mind. Through my own minimalist journey, I have learned and adopted some habits to help me simplify my home and make it more clutter-free. In this video, I will share 10 of these effective habits to help you keep your home simplified and organized, whether you are new to minimalism or just looking for ways to fine-tune your current existing systems. Number 1, discard or keep with confidence. When you are going through your things and decluttering them, you have basically always two choices, whether you want to keep it or declutter it. And if you are going to keep it, make sure that you make that decision with confidence, that after that, you will wear the item, you will put it somewhere where it's visible, you appreciate it, and you take good care of it. So rather than just hiding these items that may kind of fall into this gray area, that they are not the most amazing that you have, but not really something that you want to declutter, try to keep and use those items with confidence. Try to feel that gratitude for them. To make the decision, you can, for example, use the KonMari method. So if something is sparking joy or not, when you are feeling the items, you realize, okay, this doesn't give me any emotions whatsoever, so then I will just let it go. Or you will feel that, okay, this is very important piece for me and I just haven't been wearing it recently, so now I will definitely start to do that and I will keep it with confidence. Number 2, do it when you see it. This is very simple trick or habit, but very powerful one. Basically, it means that every time you are seeing something that is a little bit messy and not organized maybe in the best way, you will act immediately and not postpone it. For instance, if you see that the dishwasher program just finished, rather than postponing it and leaving it for tomorrow, you do it now immediately. This is important because every time you see a task, but you are not doing anything about it, it just gets added to your mental to-do list and you will keep thinking about it throughout the day and remembering how you should do it. Or when you're going to sleep, you know that, okay, tomorrow morning when I wake up, I have to do that. And I just believe that if you spend the 2 minutes to do it immediately, it will be just so much easier for you mentally. And I think that that's where the 2-minute rule got its name, that if something takes less than 2 minutes to do, you should do it immediately. And I have to be honest, I am not perfect with this habit. I don't think anybody can be always perfect with this. Sometimes we just feel lazy and we have some other priorities maybe. So that's why I think it's more important to start at least building the habit so that you see something and more often than not, you act on that rather than just saying that whatever, I will do it some other day, because that some other day will become multiple days, and then after a week, if you haven't cleaned or tidied up anything in your house, then it will feel so impossible to get even started. Number 3, store small items in jars. This really helps to keep things organized, easily accessible, and also easy to find. This works really well for example, pens and pencils, buttons, things like that. When you group together these small items in jars, the likelihood of them getting lost or scattered somewhere becomes very small, and you can so quickly just find whatever you need when you don't have them in 3 different drawers, all these little things, and then you have to go through them every single time. We have multiple of these in our home. We have different ones like glass jars and then these more decorated ones, and we use them for food as well. And we are repurposing many times the jars that we get from store. When we buy something, we just clean them up and then repurpose them to organize or store something in there. Number 4, create a spot for your keys. For example, at the entrance of your house where you always put keys. You create the habit when you come from outside, you put it there and not keep them in your pocket or some random purse or bag or jacket pocket. I used to do that and always my keys were lost or I couldn't find them when I needed them, because when you wear like 4 different pants during the week and 3 different bags, it becomes impossible. Some people have these nice key holders and they put individual keys there. We just have this bowl and put everything there that we use like daily, and then we have this box for keys that we don't use that often, that are for some other people's house, maybe some spare keys or things like that. And a pro tip is to label some of these keys, especially the ones that you don't use that often, because we very easily forget which key unlocks which lock. Number 5, organize books by category. I think this is so much better than organizing them, for example, by color, by alphabetical order, or even by book size, unless you have like hundreds of books and you remember the author's names always. I definitely don't. So categorizing them by subjects and the genres is so much better. And for me, that's very subjective kind of as well, what I perceive to be in which category. I have books, for example, that are more spiritual or religious, or business books, entrepreneurship books. They are kind of in the same category because for me, they give me the same kind of reading experience. Some other categories we have are like these sports books, then these like practical books, design books, fiction books, these non-fiction, science and nature books, and then also we have some poems here. Number 6, set a selling deadline. Sometimes when we are trying to sell unwanted items, the process can be very difficult. There have been many times for me as well that no matter what I do, people just don't buy the product. Maybe the description wasn't good, maybe the product pictures were not that amazing, or maybe I just priced it too high because I had some emotional attachment to that item and that's why I put the price so high, or I bought it with so much higher price and I want to get at least some money back from that investment. And this phenomenon is called sunk cost fallacy. So when we are unwilling to let go of something because the money we invested in that. The solution to overcome this obstacle, no matter what the reason is to set for yourself a selling deadline. The time can, for example, be 30 days, and during this time, you will little by little lower the product price and improve the pictures and try to do whatever you can to sell it. And if after 30 days still you couldn't sell it, then you will rethink what you will do. Will you, for example, just donate it, or just reduce the price to like minus 90%, so basically free, but you get at least little bit of money for all the effort that you put. And I think the lower the price is, the shorter the waiting period should be. So if you're selling a car, of course you will wait multiple weeks or months before like lowering the price too much. But if you're selling something like, let's say, a shirt that you bought with $10, 30 days is too long in my opinion. For that, maybe 1 week could be good enough, and if you cannot sell it during that time, then you just donate it or sell it with like $2 or something. Number 7, regularly review your subscriptions. Over time, your interests and needs change, so something you received every month a year ago and felt super excited about that may not be relevant or important to you anymore now. By reviewing your recurring subscriptions at least every year, you prevent the accumulation of unwanted items like newspapers, some magazines, or even vitamins or supplements. For example, I bought this subscription to this finance magazine. I usually don't, but this time I was like, okay, I'll give it a try. And now after 3 months, I have realized that it's okay, it's fine. I think that I'm getting my money's worth with that, but I will not like pay again next year for that, because I can pretty much get the same information online and I don't really need that physical paper every single month. I've also noticed that when I go to my grandma's house, she gets this daily newspaper every morning. In 2 weeks, the bin is full. I think she even gets more than 1 magazine, maybe like 2 per day. And the amount of clutter in 2 weeks is just insane. I think reviewing these once or even multiple times a year and canceling those unwanted ones will help you to reduce the waste, keep your home clutter-free, and also help you save a lot of money because you're paying for something that you don't even need. Number 8, create paperless systems. I think we are living in an era where it's so much more efficient and makes so much more sense to have things stored digitally. Of course, the physical paper is nice, and maybe it's nice to have a copy of something as well physically, but when you have things stored digitally, you can find those with any device. You can access those with any device, no matter where you are. I do understand if you are not so tech savvy that you still want to have everything physically, if that's the habit that you have, but for those people that are like my age, it's not anymore needed. It's so much wiser to have, for example, to get all the bills with email and not every single one with the physical mail. Because what you do with that paper, you just basically take a picture of it or scan it or whatever, and then go to your bank and then pay it. You can do the exact same thing with email. So I've been changing many of the bills like that. Only ones that I have now kept are the like really expensive ones that I want to make sure I get them right, and not that they end up, for example, in my spam folder. Yeah, it's just more stress-free way to go about things. But overall, there are so many tools these days that you can use to digitalize things and make everything easier for you with cloud services, note-taking apps, PDF scanners, and all that. I have seen some very old school offices, and those are not places where I would like to spend time in. They just seem so overwhelming with huge like folders and stacks of papers everywhere, and what I have is just basically one screen and I have everything there. So even if you're a very old school type of person and against all this digital things, at least give it a try. Number 9, flattened cardboard boxes or packages. This helps you to save so much space because the volume decreases significantly when you are flattening them. At least for us, if we don't do this, we have to take out the trash like 3 or 4 times more often. Or if we don't take them out so often, then everything will look just so messy and cluttered in our kitchen. I think most of you are doing this already, but if you are not, definitely start it. Number 10, organize things in a way that fits you personally. I think this is crucial for creating an efficient and comfortable living space. There are a million different folding techniques and organizing methods, but you know yourself the best. Your style should reflect your own preferences and needs, making your space feel like home. And I think if you're doing it this way, you are way more likely to actually maintain a tidy and clutter-free home. Feeling obligated to do things a certain way many times leave us just feeling frustrated, and then we just drop the habit completely. For example, do you prefer things to be visible or hidden? Do you like to organize items by category, frequency of use, or color? I have always, for example, liked to hang all my clothes and keep them visible. Once you understand yourself better and you have chosen a system, then just implement it and see how things work. If something isn't working, just tweak it, make some adjustments to make it suit your needs better. For 10 more practical tips to create a simplified home, make sure to watch this video next. Thank you so much for watching. Remember to stay kind and meaningful in your own beautiful journey. See you in the next one.